Hi, this is Robin the Generous Stitcher, and so I filmed my main video yesterday, and then I started something that I talked about starting in that video. So I wanted to show you the whip in progress, and the let me find the picture because the pattern doesn't come with a picture. I had to screenshot this. So this is Flowers Shall Grow, Heartstring Samplery, and I bought the kit for the Harvest Moon Hangout, and so I started this last night. It is 32 count Jackalope by Lap and Loops. That's the fabric, and I got two rows done. Let's see, there's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 rows, and then a plant at the bottom. So, and then I'm using coal, which is a variegated kind of grayish black with a pretty strong purple tint to it. So I had heard, gosh, a couple years ago that a lot of the flosses that we perceive as black, if you really look at them closely, they're either going to be black with green or black with purple, and it's very hard to get a true black. And Willow's thinking about dinner. I'm wondering if she's going to pop over here. So she's going for dinner. So so anyway, we had really bright sunshine yesterday. As it was going down, I spread out a bunch of different blacks, Weeks, and Gentle Arts, and maybe a Classic Colorworks, different blacks that I had in my stash. And we the spouse got a good eye for color, so we kind of looked at stuff and talked about stuff. And what was really funny is I bought a skein of Raven, which I believe is a Gentle Arts. I just saw it at Acorns and Threads, and so I picked up a skein of it. Figured, I'll use it sometime. Well, when you put that in bright sunlight, it does not look black at all. It is completely olive, dark olive green. And I'm like, okay, I can kind of see sort of black iridescent where the bird looks kind of greenish or so when, under bright light. But I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to stitch with this now, because it's not really black unless you have it in like poor light conditions or not the greatest light conditions. So anyway, so this is due. This is the pre-stitching for the Harvest Moon Hangout, which is like the September 25th, 26th, 27th. And I do not know what day Heartstring Samplery, the class, will be on. I haven't seen, all I've got is my tickets. And so anyway, so we'll find out. And with this, this is really quick stitching, just making letters for the most part, and very simple. The triangles, wavy line on the top. There's some other sorts of stitches in the other rows, and then the plant is pretty simple too. So and she has charted a chart to be able to fit the pre-cut coffin lid, because this is the lid that you're stitching. There's Willow. You want to come up here and say hi? I know you want to eat the floss or eat the linen. So, hey Willow. Yeah. So anyway, she's wanting to eat wanting to sniff the linen. So if I bring the linen close to me, maybe. So anyway. Yes, do you want your YouTube close-up? Nope. Okay. So anyway, yeah, so that's my start, and which is good because I haven't had I guess had some like mini starts for the 30 acorns, but you know, this is my first start. It's almost the end of well, it's the 17th of August now, and so that's my start for August. I did kit up. I did kit up Camping Bigfoot last night, and picked, like I showed you earlier, I showed you the fabric I picked for it, and I got all the flosses together in a project bag. So I actually have a dedicated Bigfoot project bag, which has all of the Sambry Stitches patterns that I own. And I haven't put Lola Crow's Bigfoot patterns in it, but you know, maybe in the future, because I'm getting some of her releases with Bigfoot. So anyway, so that's what you'll see or hear me talk about in the video, and I'm gonna stop this and then hopefully get this posted tonight. But gotta go get some coffee now. All right, see you in a few. Hi, this is Robin the Generous Stitcher, and boy, I was hoping for a short video, and I'm not sure this is gonna be that short. So one thing that that I've shown when I started this video is a photo of Flowers Shall Grow, which is a heartstring samplery piece, and that is a special class for, sorry, always feel like I've got something going in my eye. It's a special class for the Harvest Moon Hangout, which is a Lindy Stitches virtual retreat hangout. And you know what? I keep pushing myself forward, and then I'm like all hunched up because I'm so excited. And anyway, so I saw this piece and I was like, I must stitch this. I must get the kit. And then, of course, the tickets go on sale Eastern Standard Time, which is while I'm still working. Friday, the last 6 weeks have been like hell at work because it's my busy season. I've just been exhausted all the time and not stitching. And so at 5:10, don't tell the state I worked 10 minutes. Well, I did some housework in the middle of the day too, so the 10 minutes was taken care of, but because I work from home. So the where was I going? I'm still tired. So I was like, oh no, and I logged on to my personal computer and got in, and the kits for the Flowers Shall Grow were still available, and I got one. I heard later from a friend that the Harvest Moon Hangout like sign up, I think. No, maybe this was for the beach retreat. So I don't think I've heard anything about Harvest Moon Hangout. Sometimes their website in the past has sort of glitched for Lindy Stitches because it's very popular, and the I know the first year they did this, they had problems with their internet platform, and so they switched vendors, and the next vendor was a little bit better. They do have a dedicated tech team through Lindy Stitches that make sure things go smoothly, and over the years they've gotten way smoother than closer to the beginning. I didn't go to the first year, but I did go to the second, and there were some glitching with the second, but I have no complaints. I think they've worked out a lot of their bugs, and the virtual retreats are so much fun. You meet people from all over the United States. You meet people from Australia, from France, from other lots of other countries, and especially if you are like a late night person, and so then you are stitching when people from other time zones are joining. So I have had lots of fun at virtual retreats. I've learned a lot of things because your different designers do video meet and greets, and they do comedy videos. Kathy Haberman filmed some video footage at the 30 Acorns class in July that you might see at Jingle Ball for 2026. She doesn't know, but she said, hey, might as well get some footage, so if I need to do it, I have some stuff to work with. And so anyway, so I signed up for the Harvest Moon Hangout. I did get the Flowers Shall Grow, which I've shown a picture at the very start of this video of that piece, because I was like making a coffin and mummies, and Halloween is my love language. Well, yeah, so which is the name of a pattern that you're going to see in a few minutes here. So anyway, you can still sign up to get a general ticket. I do not know about other kit availability, and so anyway, and I got, like, Beth Twist sent us our first email like either Friday night. It must have been Friday night, because I was looking at my inbox on Friday night and I'm like, oh my gosh, or it may have been yesterday. I think it was Friday night, because I was working on the computer and the email showed up and I immediately opened it up, downloaded the PDF, printed off the PDF, and then went through my and I'll just put this here, Flowers Shall Grow, in a project bag with the instructions and the pattern. And then I picked out a piece of fabric, which is Lap and Loops. This is Jackalope. I have some other things that I'm going to be stitching with this, but this small piece of Jackalope was actually the kit fabric for Ocean and View, to stitch the piece with the whale that went on the top of the box that we made for the circular box we made during that class. I decided that they were having a trunk show for Lap and Loops at the same time, and Lucy Beam, that designer who is Becky, and I apologize, I don't recall her last name. I will put it in the notes for this video. Her daughter Megan is the person. Megan and her husband are the geniuses behind Lap and Loops, and they are major science fiction fans, which is awesome because I understand all of the in-jokes about how their fabrics are named. And so anyway, so I had this piece and I thought, that's what I was going to use. Is, I got a different piece of Lap and Loops fabric to do the Ocean and View piece, which was going to turn out really beautiful. And so when I was like, I only need a small piece, and Beth Twist was saying in the instructions, that you could just take a piece of whatever fabric you have, moth-eaten fabric, she even said, I think, and just stain it with coffee or tea or something at home, which I don't want to do. My coffee's too expensive. I don't do cheap coffee. Yeah. And so I was like, this is perfect. It's gonna be great. and it's funny because, you know, this was a heartstring samplery Lucy Beam kit piece. It was this smaller piece of lap and loops. And I have a good sized chunk of lap and loops that I'm planning to do a reproduction sampler on someday. But anyway, which kind of reminds me of another kind of thing that did I have it over here, or is it, it's here. Okay, I will try to remember. Maybe I'll put that on my list of topics to discuss. So anyway, Harvest Moon, dealt with that, dealt with the kit. Gonna put my fabric in the project bag. Oops, just zipped it closed instead of zipping it open. There we go, it's in the project bag. So what next? All right, so and Harvest Moon Hangout virtual retreat is September 25th through 27th. And that means I have 2 retreats in September. So let's talk a little bit about Pinwis. So normally I go through and talk about what I bring to Pinwis and how Pinwis happens. So my first Pinwis was 2023. I started doing Flosstube in February of 24. I did an August or early September. I think I did in August what to bring for Pinwis, and it was a really long video in 2024. And then in 2025 I did a preparing for Pinwis video, which was maybe not, I don't remember if it was that long or if it was a 2-parter, but I think I did it in very early September. And so this is going to be my Pinwis prep, and it is August 16th, so it's a little early. However, Pinwis this year is Labor Day weekend, which is not the usual time, but the hotel that we use is an Embassy Suites. It's a popular hotel right by a big shopping mall, and Janine is always you know, kind of duking it out with, say, football, because it's football season. And so that hotel is often booked, and so there are sports things going on, especially football, that those events are happening, and so she has to kind of figure out, you know, who can she come this weekend or that weekend because of the other events and the hotel's reservations. So Labor Day this year was when she could get it. Also, we are going to be in the entire ballroom. Last year we had 188 stitchers plus guests in half of the ballroom, and we all felt really squeezed together. This year we're going to be in the whole ballroom, and I believe the tables will only have 7 people per table. And the tables are going to be a little bit more spread out, so we won't be all crammed together, because literally we were so crammed together with all chairs and stuff. And even though I've lost 30 pounds in the last year, I still feel like I take a bit of space. So when I stood up to go make my way to a door to get to the bathroom, I was kind of like, am I going to make it in time? Because there's so many people and chairs and close spaces to navigate through to get to that door. Even though the women's restroom was right across the door, the door to that bathroom was right across from the door out of the ballroom, at the end of the ballroom I was in. But hopefully it won't be so bad. So Pinwis does have a smalls exchange. They are doing it differently this year. They're just going to do a straight call your name, go pick a bag, and then you are not going to be stealing or being stolen from, which makes it super quick. We did this at the beach retreat, and what was kind of funny is after the beach retreat, my spouse and I were hungry, so we stopped for lunch. Turns out Janine and the crew were having lunch invited us to sit at their table. So we were kind of debriefing things about the beach retreat, you know, what went well. And, you know, the beach retreat always is, there's not much to complain about the beach retreat. It's on the Oregon coast. It's great, you know, great place. You know, you can always go on the beach. You can always stitch like all the, you know, all the time, or at least until I think 9 p.m. is when the hotel kicks us out. But, and so we were talking about how well did the gift exchange go. And I was like, this is great because it doesn't last for hours and everybody gets stuff. And so, and I, you know, if it's a small group and you do the stealing thing, that's one thing. But when you're trying to do the stealing thing with 200 people, that's a different thing. You know, it doesn't quite go as smoothly. So anyway, and so those are some stats about how the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit is going to happen this year. And what I take, and this year is going to be like my first year. My first year, I did not stay at the, I did stay at the hotel. That's right, I took a suitcase and I put all my DMC in it because I didn't know that you were going to get stuff. I didn't know they were going to kit stuff up for you because I'd never been to a retreat. I didn't have that many stitchy friends. I didn't have a regular stitch group. So I was totally a babe in the woods, clueless about how retreats work. And now I am not so clueless and kind of a retreat junkie, although I only get to go to Oregon in-person retreats because of my budget and my work schedule. And so I showed up late on Friday morning because they opened the ballroom, I believe, at 9 a.m. And I didn't know my first year that they opened it early so you could go in and get your table and with your friends and all that. So and I, you know, had like, you know, 5 cross-stitch friends or less at that point. And so, and I ended up sitting in the only really about the only table that had space left, which turned out to be the table where the designer sat. So I sat with designers all weekend and just had a lovely time, and also some other people that were sort of like didn't necessarily have their friend group with them. And it was great. I mean, whether you have your friend group and you make arrangements to have all your friends sit together, or whether you go and it's randomly assigned seating, which PNWSS and the retreats that Acorns and Threads do, and the classes are starting to go toward randomly assigned seats. And that's great because everybody, I mean, cross-stitchers, we're all friends because we all love cross-stitch. And so, and we're all there to do the cross-stitch, okay? So, you know, I don't mind randomly assigned seating, and I'm like, I know enough people, and it's really funny because in my political organizing, people are like, you're so friendly and you're so like personable, and I'm like, well, I'm really an introvert, but I know how to schmooze a room through other volunteer activities and through other and practicing at cross stitch, and also making a point to, when I go to a in-person stitch thing, you know, greeting people and talking to different people and following up with people like, oh, hey, how is that project of yours going? You know, oh, you know, how are you doing? I heard, you know, being friendly. And I know it's not easy because I was painfully shy when I was a child and a young adult. And so, but you get over that with practice. And so, anyway, I consider myself not a very friendly person. I consider myself to be a B word, okay? And I can be really aggressive and really opinionated, and and rub people the wrong way. Okay, but this is cross stitch, and there are no cross stitch police, and I'm not a cross stitch cop. Okay, and I'm not a restricted sort of, I only stitch linen, I only do this count, and I only do that. Okay, I do a lot of different things. So I can't think of the word, or maybe I'll make up a word that means that, but with cross stitch. But anyway, so I've had people come up at the last two Pinwhisses and thank me for my Flosstube video about telling them how to prepare for the retreat. So if you have purchased a reservation for this retreat, they have breakfast in the morning for hotel guests. They have lunch for all of the Pinwhis participants in the around noon, and it's full catered, and there's it's just a long buffet line, and it's usually they have like a taco lunch at one point. They have maybe more of a Pacific Northwest, or I think they might have had an Italian, maybe not, I can't remember now. Last year I had dental surgery, so I couldn't eat normal food, so I didn't go to I kind of looked at the buffet and picked some stuff I could kind of gum with my missing tooth back here. And so I don't have a clear memory from last year's food, and the food's awesome. Okay, I mean, I know that they had at one point they had steelhead, which reminded me I don't like steelhead. My family hunting and fishing all my childhood, so I've had steelhead. Okay, I've had my dad steelhead fished forever, and I think I even have a picture of a steelhead and me when I was like the same size as the fish when I was like 4. Anyway, so really good food. I'm going to be really happy because I'll be able to eat it, because there'll be salads, there's the main courses, there's a bunch of sides, so it's really easy to find something that you like to eat. Some of the desserts, which are all delicious, but some of them are things like they have nuts or they have lemon, which I can't, which I'm allergic. So sometimes I just load up on the main dishes and don't do the desserts because of my allergy issues, but that's fine. There's always plenty of food. It's not like they run out of something and they don't bring another tray in, because they do. They know we have a bunch of people and we are hungry. So, and then at night you're on your own for dinner. They do have a little cafe, which is a very sort of bougie, sort of upscale bar with some food, good food, nice entrees and salads, but pretty expensive. And there's a bunch of, because of this area is where Beaverton, Tigard, and Portland all kind of mesh together at this mall. There are a ton of different cuisines. There's a great, is it Shanghai? I can't remember. It's like a particular kind of dumpling restaurant in the mall. That's kind of spendy, but oh gosh, those are good dumplings. But it's a really long, you either make a reservation way in advance or you wait, and then you may not get in. But I'd like to have those again. Those are good. And then there's like Mediterranean, there's a bunch of different Asian cuisines in that area. And there's also places you can kind of drive to, because it's right on 217 highway. So it's easy to zip up and down that highway and go to other places. I will not be staying at the hotel this year. I was like, how prices are increasing, maybe I won't spend, $500-700 staying at the hotel. And so I'm not. So I'm going to be coming home every night being exhausted, then waking up early to commute back, which is not going to be fun. And this is an experiment in terms of saving money. And we had to have our house roofed, which I will show a picture of the new roof at the end of this video. We took the cats to, I had a cat that experienced a roofing with me, and it traumatized her, and she became super afraid of loud bangs for the rest of her life. And I did not want my two kitties. They've been through enough trauma being abandoned and at the shelter. I did not want to have them experience that and be alone in the house while my husband and I were somewhere else doing our work, you know, away from the bangs. So I took them with us to the hotel, and I've got 2 pictures of them at the end of the video. And Max's favorite spot that he found to hide from being in the scary hotel room was behind the microwave. But he's a big kitty, you know, so he didn't quite fit. So you'll see his hind feet hanging out from behind the microwave in one of the pictures. So anyway, what else about PNWSS? So I take, last year I took a bib and I basically blocked out the patterns that I had, and I've done this 2 PNWSS in a row now where I had a bib I was working on, and I had, you know, you can't, I don't know if you can see, this is sort of grid paper on my little calendar paper I make notes on. But so I had things, I had the pattern, I had a couple copies of the patterns that I charted to make these designs. And so I cut them out and I placed them on the bib. And if you've seen other videos from last year, like after PNWSS, I show that. So I don't have a bib, I don't have a special chart. I thought about taking some of my dinosaur sampler stuff I'm working on and maybe drawing and charting some dinosaurs, but I thought, no, I don't know. I need to work on that. I've put it down for several months and I need to get back to it. But anyway, I think what I will be doing is I will be doing There Shall Be Flowers, or what is it? Gosh, what is the name of that powder name? Yeah, Flowers Shall Grow. That's it. Flowers Shall Grow. So that is a small piece, and I need to get it done by the end of, well, before the end of September. So I'll probably bring that to work on for my piece. So don't, unless you're somebody that wants to bring a bunch of patterns, I would say don't. Bring a couple things. Bring something you're close to finishing so you can ring the bell. Okay, that's what I did at the beach retreat. The first beach retreat, I had something I could ring the bell with. I'm kind of going through, I have, which I don't have, oh, I do have it. So I actually made, I have not made my, my goal of doing a finish a month exactly. And I had basically took a bunch of my smalls and the stitch count, and thought, okay, this will help me plan which thing to finish. But I am not close to finishing anything except for something that's not a small, and I'm going to show it in a little bit. I just want to say what I'm taking is, if you've been to an Acorns and Threads retreat, you must, oops, it's a sticker that was sticking to this. You must bring your Acorns and Thread cloth thing. And it's getting so heavy. Janine told this funny story about hers. She put so much stuff on it, it started to pull on her shirt and show a bit more cleavage than she was comfortable with. And I don't mind showing cleavage, actually, for myself, but this is getting kind of heavy. And the other thing is if you use the internal magnet for it, then it'll fall. You'll lose pieces in your clothing, and I usually do a binder clip to my collar, and which I'm not going to demonstrate here because you can't see it from my camera angle. But anyway, so yeah. Oh, and that's the 30 Acorns charm right there, and so yeah, I'm not even sure where. Yeah, the charm for Ocean and View is pretty good sized. Not very heavy, but good sized. And so yeah, I'm not even sure where the PNWSS charm is going to go. I may have to put my gender non-conforming fob I want to wear it, but I maybe have to put it somewhere else. So maybe that it hangs down, and basically I don't really want to permanently stitch it onto here, but I could if I needed to. So anyway, so yeah, I got a little bit more space around the top and down this side, so I feel like I'm not too awfully crowded. I mean, at one point Janine was so crowded, and so she started putting like strings and having things hang down lower, and that's what I had to do with the Ocean and View compass. So anyway, bring this. This is super important. Okay, you'll be embarrassed if you don't bring it, which I don't really like that tradition for Acorns and Threads retreats, but it is their thing. So all right, so, and of course I always bring my Notions purse, which is a little pencil purse that's like, this is a Japanese company. There are some other off brands, and I have some Acorns and Threads like bling from, I believe this is from Acorns and Threads 24. Yes, that's right. And so anyway, this is a magnetic purse, and then it just sits on your table, and I use it for my Notions. Other people use it to put their floss traps. And so I have my pins, I have a ruler, I have a bunch of emery boards, I have my magnetic finder of drop needles, and it's telescoping. This has saved me and other people at the beach retreat once, and other times. And I have a little Acorns and Threads notebook. I don't know if they have many or any more of these at the store. This was from like 2024 swag at PNWSS, and then they had a few extra at the shop, and I am always writing stuff in it, and like my needlework marketplace pre-orders, and the list of things that I will talk about in a minute that I got that were in the clearance bins at Acorns and Threads. I have like instructions on how to do a front loop start, and right there, and I have my color changes for my flamingos pattern. So I am constantly putting yeah, I have my husband's veggie burger order here, and then I have our calzone order for Papa Murphy's, which is a take and bake pizza place here in the Pacific Northwest. I have a little Ort boat, which I've been using, so I have a bunch of stuff to put in the trash. Oh, I covered up the trash with my whips. So that's not handy. But anyway, a little Ort boat. Tammy, who is Woodland Stitching Studio on YouTube, she gave me a little like pocket calendar so I can write stuff in it for the next year. She gets keepsakes, like calendars, keepsakes, cross-stitch stuff. So she gets one of these free every year and doesn't really use it. So I was talking, oh, wow. There's a floss tracker in the back. I didn't even see that. Gosh. This is all DMC, but still. Okay. So anyway, I told her I needed to get a new one. I have a 2-year one, and I told her, yeah, I need to get another one for tracking cross stitch. And she's like, I have a free one you can have. So she brought this to me, and I do actually need 2. So I'm probably going to use this for the other thing I need it for and get another 2-year one, just because they're just really, really great. So, and then I have a corner gauge if I'm going to be doing a start. Then I have this to figure out my margins. This is an Acorns and Threads corner gauge. I got some chapstick from my friend Cindy in the Salem Area Stitchers one year. And so I keep that. And then at the beach retreat, my friend Lisa gave us little, and then little retractable tape measures, which I have used this now that I've had classes and I'm finishing things. And so this is really handy. And spoiler alert, I bought some as a table gift for PNWSS. So not for this is gonna be the first, well, not the first year, but I really don't have time to do table gifts for all 200 people at PNWSS this year, so I won't be doing that unless I find some good candy deals, which is what I did last year, because Halloween candy was coming out. So I got a bunch of like Smarties and put a bunch of those in some Smarties and some Linder balls, I think. And so anyway, I'm pulling everything that's in my little the zipper pouch. And so I have in that zipper pouch, I have a needle threader, which I never use, and I'm going to take that out. I have a couple of these little makeup brushes for brushing away the little bits of orts when you have to frog something. I have some wide eye beading needles here. Don't really use those much, but I had some extras in a package that was open. So I have like an extra scissors that it's this particular brand. The little cap is really loose. So got that. Oh, got some of the rainbow snips. A couple of scissors of those. So I had some extra scissors. I put them there. I have Blanc, and I have several 310s. Like I have 2 skeins of 310 and a bobbin of 310. I need to put one of these extra skeins back in stash, I think. But I had this because I needed black and Blanc for different things, and I was like, why don't I just put, and the 310 is always migrating between different project bags, so I'm like, why don't I just, and as well as the Blanc, so why don't I just put these in my little Notions purse, so then I don't have to swap them out between project bags. So that's sort of a new addition to my Notions purse. I have my magnetic needle holder with a sharp needle for stitching on all the bling for my name tag. So as soon as we get our little charm, I'm whipping out some floss, I'm whipping out the sharp needle and immediately stitching the bling on it so it's there, so I don't have to worry about losing it later. And so, and then I have a bunch of different needles. Oh, let me put, this is not a needle. I have the Star Detailer, which is this piece here. It's kind of like a big eye needle. And what you do is, if you are playing thread chicken, which I always do, you get to the end and you want to, you know, weave that floss underneath the stitches, but you don't have very much in terms of the amount of floss you have and the needle length that you have. And so what you do is you put this in underneath those stitches, you thread your little bit of remaining floss into it, and then you yank it out and it pulls that thread underneath the stitches, so then you don't have to figure out, can I stick my needle in there, and you know. And so I've used that now a couple times when I've sort of realized, uh-oh, I went a bit too far with thread chicken. So thread chicken, I've yet to be beaten with that. Just saying. And so then I also have, so a friend of mine gave me as a gift a bunch of her favorite, these are chenille pony black needles. They're a little bit pointy, so I haven't used any. And I thought they were kind of long, but then I pulled one out because I was thinking it's got a big eye, I can use it for this project, but it's kind of short. So I was sort of surprised. So I haven't used, these are her favorites, but I haven't used them yet. And, you know, maybe I will. And then I have a bunch of my favorites, which are, I know a lot of people say John James is crap, but, you know, I kind of like the gold ones. I have a friend who has a gold allergy who's an amazing cross-stitcher knitter. And so, you know, I didn't realize that she was using these until we were talking about, oh yeah, she's got allergies. So I like the 28. I have a couple 26s in here, which you would use for, say, a 40 count, because that thicker needle pushes the fabric apart in that hole, so you can get your floss through it easily. And so, okay, I have two 28 packages. One is not open and one is. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the two ones that aren't opened and put them into my stash. This is good because it's good to like clear stuff out. So anyway, so that's what I have in my notions purse. And you know, you need to decide what notions that you need to take. It's good to be able to take what you need to start and to have enough needles for projects, and you know, have a little bit of self-care with your nails and your lips, take care of your orts. And so anyway, that's what I take. And I am going to take, if I haven't finished Henny Penny by Pinwhist, I'll be taking Henny Penny to Pinwhist, which will be a really close to a start. So let me show you Henny Penny and the other project I've been working on. Thank you for staying with me so long before actually seeing cross stitch. Put things back in my notions purse or out of my way. So oh, and then in my notions purse, yeah, I carry like little stuff like this, like my ledger and that little notebook. So all right, so Henny Penny, it's getting so close. Oh my goodness. I really I really want to put a lot more stitches in it. But what I've been trying to do is make it so all I have left is fill in. So I've been doing a lot of the white in the apron, so that all I got to do is the fill in of the blue. And then I have completed all the black in this piece, except for there's 3 stitches right around the eye in the black. I haven't done that yet, but I worked on the head last night, and it is getting so big, and I cannot see what this looks like because I am behind this. So Oh, let me see if I can back up. There's the wall. Okay, kind of almost stick it in there. So you've seen the feet before. So that's the head, which is the new part. And so, like I say, I've got all the black done. So the tail and the wings are still need white. So that's all white fill in. So, and it's not quite white, it's like a grayish, like a silvery gray white, which is very close to an actual chicken breed that my sisters raised. So, anyway, so that's Henny Penny, and it's a Christmas present. So I'm really close, and I really want to ring the bell for this, or have it done before Pinwis. Well, now, unfortunately, I have not been stitching, and I've only got, it's the 16th, and I've only got maybe 6 stitch days the entire month so far, or 5, maybe 6 if I count today, which I haven't stitched yet, but I decided to do this first. And then, let's see, the other whip I'm going to show you, I had picked up this piece. It'd been a while since I worked on it. Let me take out the piece, but I want to show, yes, here it is. Oops. I think that's it. I'm trying to pull it out carefully because I don't want to show you the pattern. That would be a big faux pas. And so this is by the Blue Flower, and it is Saltwater Scrapbook Part 1, and this was a collaboration with Blue Flower and Lady Stitches. This is probably another one I'm going to take with to work on Pinwis, because I would really like to get it done, and that would be another finish. So I'm working on this squirrel and fox that are having ice cream together at the beach. And so, because I have a friend who loves squirrels, and I've been meaning to do a piece for her, and I probably shouldn't have closed that so far. So what I was working on was the awning at the top of the ice cream shop, and I was gonna work on the maroon on the other side of this white part of the banner, and then I realized, oh crap, and I'd actually stitched the other part of the maroon there, and then I realized, wait a minute, there's 7 stitches in this white one, but there were 8 stitches here, and that threw it off in terms of, at the very last stitch here is the border, and I need the border to round the corner like it did on this other side. So I was like, oh damn, had to do frogging. I really try my best to avoid frogging, but it happens. And so that is what I've worked on a couple days this month. And this, like I say, this is going to be a gift, and I did want to, it's a small, so I do want to finish it. And I have other smalls that are probably as far along or maybe further along that I can that I could work on. So I'm just trying to think about what can I finish. That I've got other smalls that I could probably finish for a month, but some of those aren't gifts, so it's like I'd rather spend the time working on gifts, because the gifts, can't, you can't say, oh, I'm going to do this gift, and then you don't do it on time. So, okay, so that's whips. And I've talked a little bit on plans, but I'm going to get into the rest of this is going to be my curated cross stitch collection, the plans for some of the things that I've collected, and then tiny little bit of Sampler September, because somebody asked me about it. So I thought, well, I guess I should mention that. So I went to the shop. Oh, and last month was my birthday, so my sister came up while we were riffing and met me at the hotel, and she gave me a cross-stitch t-shirt, which is in the wash, that's being washed right now, but she also gave me a needle minder, because she doesn't do cross-stitch, and she's like, this is a needle minder. I didn't even know this was a thing. It's magnetic, and then you put your needle here. And I'm like, yeah, I know what needle minders are. But I love this one because it's a black cat holding a knife, ready to stab. And I told her, I said, yeah. I said, I don't really use them because I find that the magnets aren't that powerful and the needles fall off with what things I'm working on. But I said, I do like cute ones like this, so thank you. I like it. And I like the t-shirt, and the t-shirt fit. So the t-shirt was one of those cross-stitch, something like shows you can stab something 1,000 times, which is, I think, what it said on the front. But it was black and pink. And so anyway, I have like enough cross-stitch t-shirts. I have 3 cross-stitch sweatshirts and 2 long-sleeve cross-stitch t-shirts. So I have enough for a 5-day or a 7-day cross-stitch retreat now, if we were to ever have one. So anyway, so that was birthday gifts. Then yesterday I went to Acorns and Threads, and I picked up a couple newish things. I picked up the Seize the Day by Tiny Modernist. Kind of feeling this nautical thing that I feel like I want to stitch nautical. So I was sort of on the fence with this, but I'm like, yeah, I should get it. It's just a small. So I got it. And then there was another nautical one. This is like American Mermaid Pin Keep. And I'm like, yeah, I like this one. It's not a new one. It's like from 24, I think, maybe Nashville 24, based on the date when the SKU code was put on. Yeah, so 2024. So the mermaid's right there. All right, and then I haven't really liked all the platitudes, but I saw this one from Fox and Rabbit, and I'll show this much because I don't want to, they've got the pattern on the front and then on the back, and I saw this one done in the back room of the shop, which was please don't bother me, I have enough on my plate. And that's kind of like, my plate is overflowing, so I'm like, I really need to stitch this one and find an old vintage plate to put it on. And the other one is like, emotionally connected, emotionally attached to fictional characters. And it's got dragons and stuff here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some Star Trek things on it, and then that'll be for me. But that one is a longer term project. This is one I really want to start and do fast. And then I went into the clearance bins, and there were a couple Hildy patterns that I wanted to get, but I only found one of them. This is Hildy Goes Camping by Bendy Stitchy. And I've got a couple other Hildy ones. And then I had on my list to get a Rebel Stitcher. Halloween is my love language. And I had on my list to get Camping Bigfoot. And did I look at my spreadsheet? I have friends that get 2 or 3 of the same patterns, and then they're always complaining that they've done that. And I'm like thinking, well, that's why I have my spreadsheet. Did I look at my spreadsheet? Kinda, maybe not. So when I opened up the Bigfoot project bag, I had 2 copies of this. But that's okay because they were 75% off, so it was only like $1.75, I think, for one of these. So, and the other one was on sale, 50% off. So from the online shop that I got it from, so that was only $4. So I mean, both of these together were not the full price of the pattern when it originally sold. And immediately I'm like, okay, Bigfoot's quick to stitch. I think I will stitch it for my sister for Christmas. And this is perfect because this is Lap and Loops, Pusher's Cerulean. Pusher X-Files episode. I think actually the character was in 2 X-Files episodes, although I don't recall both of the episode names, but Megan and her husband would know. They wouldn't even have to think about it. So anyway, it's blue, and this is a blue background for, and then this is Scarlet Sky Designs TX, which is Texas. This is a s'more charcuterie board, finishing board. I bought a flamingo finishing board from them, and so I'm gonna get this and do the flat fold for this piece, so I can get the Bigfoot done, and but I won't get it finished by Christmas, and I'll just, you know, show my sister a picture in her present. Like, here, the stitching is done. The rest of it is we're working on it. So yeah, because I don't think I can get all the finishing done by Christmas. I can get that thing. Oops, I can get that thing stitched in a month because it's quick. And of course, I had 2 of these. One I know I purchased full price. So anyway, so I'm thinking, well, I guess I have a giveaway to do. So in the comment for this video, Halloween, HALLOWEEN. And if you want to put in your in the comment what's something you like from Halloween, or maybe don't like, and I went, so after I purchased, and when I also purchased the specialty flosses needed for the Bigfoot camping thing, because I didn't know what colors they were, and I want to do Bigfoot in DMC, and so I needed to match these particular variegated greens to a DMC green, so that won't be variegated like in the Bigfoot camping pattern, but at least it'll be color safe, because my sister has a Bigfoot themed bathroom, and so if the pattern gets splashed, I don't want it to run. So anyway, so Halloween is my love language as a giveaway, and Halloween is the code word in the comment, and it's just a piece of cardstock, so I will ship it anywhere I need to. Okay, and so let's see. So that's plans there's a couple more plans I have. Another thing I bought at the shop yesterday was a button. It's pink, it's that big, and because I have 2 buttons missing from pairs of pants that I want to wear, and so I thought, oh, this will be perfect. Well, then I'm looking at the other pair of pants is identical to the ones I've got on, and I'm like, oh crap, this button is too big. It's smaller than the button that it was too big that I got, but I thought, oh, I'll replace it with that. So I think this one might be too big too, even though it's smaller than the one that was too big. So that's okay, because while I was at the shop, I was talking to a friend of mine about the fact that I need to get a specific kind of heavy-duty interfacing for Henny Penny, and so we were looking online about where that stuff could be, what kind that I needed, like a model number for the brand of stuff I need to buy, and because I have regular interfacing, you know, for smaller things, you're going to do a flat fold or a bisque nylon, but this is heavy duty, and it's going to be a stuffed animal for a child. So I went to a fabric store. They had a bunch of interfacing, but this particular kind of interfacing that I was looking to buy is, they've been having problems with their warehouse, and so it's sort of on back order. They expect to get it this next week, and I was like, well, no rush, and I left them my phone number and name, and so they'll be calling me in the next week or two if they get, you know, if and when they get this in. And because it's a Christmas gift, and because I'm not done stitching with it yet, I can go a month or so without it. And I told them I was going to be back in the area in September, because I have a book club at the Beaverton Library. But I looked at the Halloween fabric, and I found one that is just perfectly, it's so gorgeous. Look at this, with the crows, with the little orange, like, sort of garland around them, trailing off with full moons. And I got 2 yards. I know that about 1 yard is sufficient for a project bag. And I also thought, well, you know, I have several Halloween pieces that this would be great fabric. And I had gone to look, I looked at the fabric because my friend Tammy, when she finished the, there was a Rebel Stitcher pattern that I used for the PNWSS Small Exchange in 2024, and it was, she made it into a box, and it was so cute, and I'm like, I want her to redo that, but I don't know if she still has Halloween fabric in her stash, because that was when she was still doing finishing professionally, which she's not doing anymore. Really, you know, she's not working for a shop doing finishing anymore, and so and she's not really a huge Halloween fan, so I don't know what. And I know she destashed a bunch of stuff because she was trying to clear out her house and free up space in her house. So I don't know if she still has the candy corn Halloween fabric that she used to make the box. So I was looking for candy corn, but the only candy corn that they had left in their Halloween selection was rayon, and I'm not buying rayon. I'm buying cotton. And so, and I talked to the store clerks, and they're like, yeah, we sold out of the candy corn cotton fabric last week. Oh well. It's going to be another year before I finish the candy corn, like redo that pattern, because I bought it and I loved it, and I did it for PNWSS, and then I'm like, okay, I got a ton of the Fox and Rabbit fabric I used. I think it's Fox and Rabbit, and I'm gonna redo it. I'm gonna do, and I got flosses, I got everything I need, and then ask Tammy to make me a box, because she will love to make me a box. She really enjoys making boxes as a finish. So, and since she did the first one, she knows exactly what to do. And so anyway, this would work for that, but I really want, I have candy corn ribbon for this box, so I want it to be candy corn fabric. So anyway, so Sampler September, somebody asked me, hey, what are you doing for Sampler September? And you know, I am not a sampler What is my little thing? Okay, here it is. I'm not a sampler stitcher. I don't consider myself to be a sampler stitcher, even though I'm designing a sampler. So I thought, well, how many samplers am I actually stitching? And so there were 2 samplers that were, and I was like, what makes this a sampler? And I had to ask, you know, in terms of the motifs. It's got a big house, it's got these oversized flowers, it's got a little figure, you know, person figure, it's got some words. It doesn't have the whole alphabet number thing, but so the Gathering of Acorns mini retreat at Acorns and Threads is 1 year they'll do a sampler, the next year they'll do something that's not sampler. So Fox and Rabbit did something that was sampler-esque, which was released, I think in the 2025 or 2026. It was 2025 they ended up releasing this pattern for Nashville, which was Gathering of Acorns. And so it is a house, a figure, these sort of sprouting acorns from the top of the house, and a little squirrel, and some other sorts of like urns with plants sort of things along the line with the house. So, which I started, got the house almost like 90% finished or 99% finished. I gotta there's like some chimneys at the top I need to add. And then the house is done. The girl to the side of the house, I got the dress is about 50 to or 60% finished. So yeah, so then I got to do all the motifs and the sprouting acorns and stuff. But so I'm working on that one. Then the 2026 Gathering of Acorns mini retreat was Maximum Cross Stitch Acorn Manor, which was a large house with a lot of the sampler motif things with roses sprouting from the house. And so not very far on that one, but you know. So then there's the Emmeline Purnell Hands Across the Sea Acorns and Threads exclusive, which I call the roses cell because it's got a bunch of roses, rose border, big rose bouquet in the center, and so anyway, so so that's one I'm working on, and in silk, on 36 count Atypical by Mystic Fabric, and then Fish and Ships, which is a long dog sampler, stitching that on 40 count metallic Pacific metallic blue fabric with B5200 thread, and I'm still working on the border. It's going to be years before I finish that. And then I realized that there was, I think it's called Simple and Free. It's a heartstring samplery pattern that, and I started working on the drum. So there is actually a larger sampler of this Simple and Free pattern, which is sort of patriotic. And so I got the sampler, the retreat that I went to with the 1120 crafters, and where Beth Twist was the guest designer. The retreat itself we got for free. We got the drum and like a pin, like a needle book pattern, like 2 patterns in the chart. And so I'm working on the drum. That was like the first drum that I've ever started. I have yet to start another drum, but I've got several drums in my stash. And so that's 5. So I think I have 5 sampler things that I can say, okay, yes, this is a sampler. And that's out of 32 whips. Okay, so, you know, I'm an eclectic stitcher. And so do I have a plan to start another sampler for September? No. Do I want to work on my other sampler things. Yeah, I I like the roses, Sal. I kind of miss it. And I've been making good progress on the 2 acorn gathering ones. And I would really like to make more progress and take one of them off the whip list. So, because those are the 2 that are closest to being finished. The simple and free, that's not that big, but I'm further along with the others. So, and on the vein of samplers, so for next year, I always try and kind of pick a theme with my Flosstube channel. The first year was sort of me figuring out how to do Flosstube. And the second year was I had a Fabric of the Month club, so I would feature the Fabric of the Month and then show, this is what I'm going to stitch on this fabric. And then this year was like, okay, let's do a finish per month, which I don't think I'm doing very well on. So, and so, yeah, so I think this year's theme is sort of, I don't know if it's worked out that well. But next year will be the year of the big ass project. And I'm going to be working on my big projects, especially things that I started in 2001, okay? Or started kitting up in 2003 and was stitching on by 2006. I mean, I want to make progress on these big projects that I'm not making progress on, that I haven't made progress on for a year or 2 years or longer. And so Kitten Reflections, okay, that was started by like 2006, 2007. That one I was actually probably the one that I could finish realistically quickly if I really worked on it. So I think what I'm going to do is pick a larger project maybe every month and work dedicatedly on that larger project, and not do and then do smalls as if I get tired of the big project, I'll work on a small. And so I've got all these smalls so I can finish things quickly and have a finish per month, but so I will continue to do my smalls, but I really want to start the Bigfoot, and I want to start the kit project, the Flowers Shall Grow. I want to start those like today, but that means that my spreadsheet is not going to fit on one page. Okay, and that's always been, it's like, okay, the whole point of having a spreadsheet is having a limited number of whips, so I don't feel like I'm overwhelmed and like I'm not making any progress and get depressed on it. But I'm thinking, oh, if I start 2 things, then I really need to get Saltwater Scrapbook off my list. I really need to get Henny Penny off my list. And then that'll free up space, and I can get those things in the next 6 weeks. I think I can get them off so that I can have space for those things. And I was going to start a resistance piece last month or in June, and I didn't do that. And that's actually a really fairly small thing, because I'm not going to stitch part of it. I'm letting the fabric take the place of some of the stitching. And so anyway, that's my brain right now. I am not getting stitching done. I am been working really hard with work and with the volunteer stuff that I do, and because I've been so overworked, things have fallen through the cracks, and I don't like that. I like saying I'm going to do this and then following through. And so I'm trying to figure out, how do I reorganize things so that things aren't going to fall through the cracks. Because I had something that I really intended to do, that I told people I was going to do, and then it didn't happen because of a mistake that I think I made when I was emailing it. So yeah, and then there was another thing that I was supposed to do this week, another political action thing that I was supposed to do this week, and one of my hearing aids, I don't know if I can, is it this one? Yes. So one of my hearing aids, I don't think you can see this, but right there, there's a little, this whole chunk broke and fell off, and so great, now I dropped it on the floor. So it broke while we were at the hotel, and my hearing aid shop is like literally walking distance from the hotel. So I took like an hour of sick leave, and I went over to the hearing aid shop and said, this happened, and I'm gonna buy new hearing aids this year anyway. And so I ended up buying new hearing aids like the next day, going in for a full workup and buying hearing aids. So that was unanticipated. That was basically a medical emergency for me, and that caused things to not happen as planned, and made work more stressful. So my work, in terms of what is, I have a big deadline on Friday. It's not really my deadline, it's the deadline for the project. The project is ending, and so work is gonna start slowing down, which is great, but you know, I'm really, like I say, frustrated. Things have not gone as well this summer as I had planned, and so I have to think about, you know, what can I let go of, or what can I say no about? And there is something that has come up that a group has asked us to work on with them, and I basically told other people, I said, what they want us to do is not a realistic thing, for some reasons that they hadn't considered. And so I'm kind of thinking, yeah, I'm not gonna be doing that. And and then I have to get things for PNWSS from all the people that I've gifted things to. So I've got 2 bibs I got to retrieve from two different cities in Oregon. And if I have to drive to people's houses next Sunday, I'm gonna do it. So I have these things in hand for PNWSS, because Janine McGowan, the Blue Flower, has seen one of them and highlighted it on her Flosstube, but the other one she's never seen. So, and then my sister, I told her, I said, I need that chicken back from my great niece, and my sister's like, okay. So that's something I need. She's supposed to come visit me next week too, or this coming week. So hopefully she'll have the chicken in hand and say, here's the chicken. Because I don't want to have to drive down to her city. That would be 3 cities and hours of driving. So anyway, very busy, and thank you for taking the time to spend it with me. And I will probably get this video posted tomorrow night, and because I want to stop and stitch, because it's now 3:05, and I want to spend like at least 6 hours stitching today, so I can get the 2 starts done, 2 starts made, and work on Henny Penny. And yeah, so okay, thank you. And so the next things you're gonna see at the end of this video are pictures of our 2 kitties at the hotel. They did not like having vacation. And then you're gonna see a picture of the new roof, which is really cool. So at least a chunk of it in a part that you can actually see, as opposed to from a distance. So, all right, thank you very much, and probably gonna post one more time before PNWSS, but I wanted to get out the PNWSS prep video first. Thank you.